Hi, welcome to Motorpoint. I'm Tim. This might look like a Ford Focus, but it's actually a sign of a world gone completely potty. You see, a year ago, Ford brought out a facelifted version of this car, which moved the Ford badge down onto the grille and it changed the interior to make it a bit more high-tech. However, because of global supply chain shortages, chip shortages, wars, planets not aligning and something to do with star signs that I don't understand, Ford won't actually let you buy a new Focus. You go onto their website and it says, yeah, nah, mate. Which is insane, but handily for us, we've got plenty of nearly new ones in stock to drive away today. But should you? Let's find out. That was brilliant. The number plate fell off the car halfway through that. When the first version of the Ford Focus came out back in 1999, it rocked the world of motoring because it proved that family hatchbacks could be fun as well as practical, and Ford sold 500,000 of them a year in the early noughties. This is the fourth generation car. It came out in 2018, and now Ford struggles to sell 100,000 of these every year because SUVs have just dominated hatchbacks in terms of popularity. But I want to see if this can still do everything you really need, because as I always say, not everyone wants an SUV. But anyway, let's have a look inside and see if this can still tempt us. Ironically, one of those SUVs that has pushed down the Focus's popularity is Ford's own Kuga, and the interior in here is actually very similar to the Kuga. Yeah, sure, the Kuga's got a full digital dashboard. I've just got analog dials here with a little digital screen in the middle, but it feels modern still. It's a little bit grey, but there's a big bright 8-inch touchscreen. That's Ford's Sync 3 system. The new facelifted Focus has got Sync 4, which is much bigger and brighter, but Ford won't let you buy it. Otherwise, it is a decent system. You've got wired Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth, sat-nav built in. It is everything you need. I've also got loads of cubby holes down here, place my phone. I've got a USB-A, a 12-volt socket, cup holders here, cubby hole here, nice big felt-lined door bins, and that's important they're felt-lined because it means your stuff doesn't rattle around, and the glove box is an okay size as well. But let's hop in the back and I'll show you how much space there is for your kids, passengers, and other idiots that want to sit in the back, like me. Now, previous generations of the Focus were fun to drive, but a bit cramped in the back, like trying to sleep in a pot noodle. But this latest generation is actually quite roomy in the back. I've got knee room, that's my driving position, and I've got a slight squidge on the back of that seat, so if my knees do touch it, it's not instant pain. I've got space under the seat for my feet, and I've got headroom. Unless I lean really far back, then my head does touch the ceiling, which doesn't happen in a Volkswagen Golf. In terms of charging back here, I've just got a 12-volt socket, so you need to bring your own 12-volt USB adapter to charge your phone, iPad, or what have you. And I've got a small door bin there as well. But anyway, that's enough about backseat practicality. Let's hop outside and take a look at the looks. Now let's take a look at the outside of the Focus, because I think this pre-facelift version of the fourth generation car looks better than the new facelift one, the one that you can't buy, because that's got the badge down here, the Ford badge. I like this big open grille, and you can tell what version of the Focus you've got by looking at it here, because titanium models get horizontal silver bars, which looks a little bit like a cheap Aston Martin. ST line cars like this get this black hexagonal affair, which if you squint and beat yourself around the head a bit, looks a tiny bit like an Audi RS model. A tiny bit. The Focus is about the same sort of size as the Volkswagen Golf, Audi A3 or Hyundai i30, and you can get it as a more practical estate version, which obviously gets a bigger boot. There's also a version called the Focus Active, which adds black rugged cladding around the wheel arches, and it raises the suspension ever so slightly, but it's not four-wheel drive, so it's a bit like wearing Hunter wellies just to go to the shops in case it rains. This generation of the Focus looks a bit slimmer and tighter at the back than previous generations, but rather annoyingly, it did join the ranks of cars that has to spell its name out. What am I driving? Oh, it's a Focus? I don't know. Porsche started this trend, I think, but it was cool when Porsche did it because it said Porsche on the back. Focus, not so much. But anyway, in terms of practicality, the boot is not as big as its rivals. It's 375 litres. The Estate, 608 litres, so much, much bigger. If only we had a way to show you what 375 litres looks like. Oh wait, we do! It's called the Motorpoint Big Boot Challenge! Can you tell I'm not a boxer? Surprisingly, all 4 of my really awful suitcases did fit in the boot of the Focus, but I had to slam the lid down a bit to squish them in there. So while the Volkswagen Golf has only got a few more litres space on paper, the shape of the Golf's boot just makes it easier to fill than this. But that said, I've still got some space for some squishy bags. But anyway, the real thing about the Focus, the real USP, is the way it drives. So let's get out on the open road and see what it's like from behind the wheel. Right, let's go for a drive in the Ford Focus, and really the first thing you notice when you've been used to driving SUVs like I have been, it's nice to sit low down. You feel connected to the car and connected to the road, and like you're not going to roll everywhere. Now it starts on a push button, it's got keyless ignition, that feels really modern and just normal now. But yeah, we should talk, I suppose, about the engine choice, because you get petrols or diesels, which isn't necessarily the most on-trend thing, but if you do big miles, get a diesel, because you'll get 60, 70 mpg, and there's a 1.5 diesel or a 2-litre diesel in a range of power, and they're called Eco Blue. The petrols, though, are better if you do lots of driving around town, or if you just like the sound of a petrol engine. They're called Eco Boost. You get a 1-litre 3-cylinder version or a 1.5 4-cylinder version, and the power ranges from 85 horsepower up to 182 horsepower for the petrol. And then there's the Focus ST on top, which is the range-topping, really fast performance model. But again, there's a diesel and a petrol option for that as well. The petrol is a 2.3 litre with about 280 horsepower, and it is rapid, but it does like a drink. I went on the press launch of that years ago in France, and it's the only press launch I've ever been on where journalists ran out of petrol halfway round the route. It's that thirsty. But anyway, we're going to get some dual carriageways, talk about refinement and safety, and then we'll get some twisty roads and have some fun. Right, let's go on to dual carriageway, accelerate from 30 up to 70, and I'm in the 1-litre engine with 125 horsepower, and it's really fast enough. Don't think that because it's a 1-litre it's going to be horrifically slow. I've got a 6-speed box, and now I'm up to 70 miles an hour. And it makes a nice growl when you accelerate these 3-cylinder engines. I quite like them. Some people find them a bit lumpy and a bit coarse, but it's character for me. I've got a little bit of wind noise off the door mirror, but otherwise this is as comfy as cars really get at this price point. The suspension is really well judged for UK roads as well, as we'll find out when we get onto the country roads. But yeah, this is a relaxed motorway cruiser, and it's safe as well. It's packed with things like lane keeping assist, emergency braking, evasion assist, which will help you swerve around upcoming crashes, which is always fun. Put them on your calendar and avoid them. But otherwise, yeah, it's what more do you need? It's that sort of thing, really. It's a Focus doing focusy things, the most focusy of which is putting a smile on your face in corners. I'm looking forward to the next bit. I don't think the cameraman in the back is. Okay, now we're out on the country roads. I can use the little button down here to switch between normal, eco and sport mode. I'll take sport, and that just really sharpens up the throttle response. And with this 3-cylinder engine, it actually does encourage you to rev it out, and you can actually really go quite quickly down country roads up to the speed limit, obviously. When you get to a corner, it turns in nice and quickly, and there's a little bit of roll in the suspension, so it's not dead firm, it's not shattering your spine, but it still feels fun. And you know that Ford's engineers are drivers, because the way this turns into a corner is quite entertaining, and this isn't even a really sporty version of the Focus. And if you get the Focus ST, that's got all sorts of stuff like a limited slip differential to give you more grip out of corners, and yeah, they all go a little bit sideways if you want them to. I'm reliably informed, won't be doing that because I'm on a public road and this is a sensible Motor Point video. But yeah, the Focus, really good fun to drive quickly. That 1-litre engine, I actually prefer it to the 1.5 just because it's a little bit more characterful. It sounds better. But anyway, that's enough chat about how this drives. Let's head back to Motor Point for an outro. Whee! As far as family hatchbacks go, the Focus is still the best one to drive. It's more fun than a Volkswagen Golf. If you're a boot space snob, then it's slightly down compared to the Golf, but we still fit 4 big suitcases in the back, as you saw. The interior is a little bit drab, but it's got the technology you need with wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you can absolutely cope. I'm just nitpicking here. It's a really good all-round family hatchback. It's still a winner. Thank you so much for watching this video. I've appreciated your focus, and if it was entertaining or helpful, please hit like, and do remember to subscribe to the channel because we've got plenty more nearly new car reviews coming soon. And remember to go to motorpoint.co.uk to see our full range of nearly new cars available to drive away today. Thanks ever so much for watching. I'll see you next time.